Hello, and welcome to an NFL Week 1, Game 1 edition of It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox. Now, currently, the Dallas Cowboys are preparing to play the Philadelphia Eagles within the next few minutes. Now, of course, I'll just go ahead and give a quick synopsis of what's about to happen. I think that Philadelphia is going to beat the Cowboys and beat them thoroughly. 28-10 is actually what's coming into my mind right now. I think with I think with all the moves that the Cowboys' esteemed owner Jerry Jones has made, this is going to backfire, and I hope it backfires spectacularly. I expect nothing less from Philadelphia to score points off turnovers because we're forcing the issue on offense. And then, of course, Dallas's defense still being unable to stop the run. And Saquon does whatever he wants. And Jalen Hurts does whatever he wants off of either broken down passing plays or design quarterback runs. So I definitely think that in this divisional matchup, the Super Bowl champions will win and win convincingly. There's another game that's actually taking place tomorrow, which is a Friday game, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs will be taking on the LA Chargers. And again, that's another divisional game. And I think they're actually playing in Brazil, which is very, very interesting. This one, a lot of people feel as though because Kansas City did not win the Super Bowl, that for whatever reason they've fallen off a cliff. I don't see that. So I do have the Kansas City Chiefs winning. It is a divisional game against the LA Chargers, whom they have quite a bit of trouble with, to be honest. They some most of the time they actually wind up splitting. Um so yeah, I think that Kansas City probably narrowly wins this one. I'd say no more than 6 points. So if I had to come up with a score, I would probably say maybe Kansas City Chiefs 27 to LA's 24, something like that. Then we have the New York Giants versus the Washington Commanders. This is also a very tough divisional matchup. So I think I got the Commanders. Yeah, I got the Commanders, regardless of who's at home. I have the Commanders. I think that they're just a better overall team, and I think the Commanders' defense is actually going to stifle the New York Giants' offense just enough to make sure that they actually beat them. Yeah, this one I don't think it's probably going to be a really high scoring game. So I'm gonna have the Commanders beating the Giants. I think it's 24-18. I think that they'll probably beat them that way. So 24-18 Washington over New York. The Miami Dolphins are playing the Indianapolis Colts. Um I guess depending on where they're actually playing, if they're playing in well, you know what? Honestly, if they're playing in Indianapolis, that's a fast surface. Miami is a fast football team. So I'm gonna still take Miami, but I think the Colts would probably put up a good fight for as long as they can. But I don't think with Daniel Jones at quarterback, it's going to be enough to try to overcome Miami. Ugh, I'm having trouble with the score for this one, but I'm also thinking the scores are probably going to stay in the 20s with this one. Uh 24-17 is what I'm actually thinking as far as Miami versus Indianapolis. So I got Miami 27, Colts 14. Or 17, rather. I'm sorry. So 24-17, Miami. And then the Carolina Panthers are actually taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this new look Carolina Panthers team, which features a quietly good defense. I think that they may actually have enough to beat Jacksonville, to the surprise of a lot of people. Um, I think this one is probably going to be a nail biter, though. It's probably going to be really close. Um, mm, this one, I want to say it's probably going to wind up being like 26 to probably like 24. So Carolina 26, Jacksonville 24. I think there's probably going to be a good amount of field goal kicking in this one. Um, so that's why that score is the way that it actually is. I think there's going to be a fair amount of field goals being kicked in this one. So we got that. And then Arizona is actually playing New Orleans. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. Um, I think, and shout outs to my brother, Coach 67 Sports TV. He is a New Orleans Saints fan, and so is my brother, Lonnie Perryman. So shout outs to my brother as well. You know, hopefully the Saints actually do go marching in on this one, but if I'm looking at it realistically, I think Arizona should win this one. Um, but it's pretty much honestly a toss up to me. I would not be surprised if the Saints actually pulled this one off. But if the Arizona Cardinals were to win, I'm thinking it would probably be maybe like 23 to, yeah, it'd probably be like 23 to like 17 or 18, Arizona. But again, I would not be surprised if New Orleans actually won this game and was able to pull off a win against the Cardinals. But if I had to like put down a score and a winner, then it would be Arizona. And again, it would probably be like that 23 or 24 to 17 or 18. Tampa Bay is actually playing Atlanta. That's another divisional game. This one, this one is a toss-up, to be honest. They actually played each other really well last year. Atlanta had a nail biter of a win in Atlanta. The crowd was going crazy. It was a great environment. Kirk Cousins actually performed well. I think he passed for like over 500 yards, and then for whatever reason he fell off a cliff a few weeks after that. So I think with Tampa Bay playing Atlanta, dang, these divisional matchups are tough. You know what? I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna go Atlanta. Tampa Bay should actually win this one. Just to be clear here, Tampa Bay, I think, may actually be favored to win this one with Vegas, but I think Atlanta actually pulls this one off if they're at home. Um, I just think that since it's a divisional game and they played each other so tough last year, I think that's actually going to carry on. And I think Bijan Robinson is actually going to be the difference. I think that he's going to have a good game, not only running the ball, but actually catching passes out of the backfield as well and then making plays off of that. So I actually have Atlanta winning this one. Now, as far as a score, yeah, I am not sure, but if I'm having to like pick numbers that are coming out of my head, 27 to yeah, 27-24, something like that. 27-24 Atlanta, if I had to just guesstimate. Um looks like Okay. Cincinnati is actually playing Cleveland, and that is a divisional matchup. Ooh. Yeah. I see Cincinnati actually beating Cleveland regardless of where they're at. Cincinnati has too much of a higher powered offense for them not to score a lot of points. And even though Cleveland does have Miles Garrett, um, boy, okay. Even though Cleveland does have Miles Garrett and company, it's not going to be enough. I think that Cincinnati actually wins this one and shows Cleveland why they're Cleveland. For this one, I think Joe Burrow and company are going to score over 30, so it's probably going to be like something like 31 to 18 or something like that. So I expect Cincinnati to win and win convincingly. And then Las Vegas is playing New England. I think for these new look Patriots, they're probably going to be rough and tumble, and that's all well and good. But I think that that's not going to be enough. I think that Geno Smith and company should have enough offense to just edge them out. So I am actually looking for this to be a relatively good effort. I think that since New England likes to make things ugly, I think that Las Vegas will actually beat New England, and this is going to be an ugly score. It's probably going to wind up being like 16 to 13 or something like that. So I expect it to be ugly. Now, San Francisco is actually playing Seattle, another divisional matchup. So San Francisco has incurred like a lot of losses as far as personnel, and man, they're playing Seattle, which is the divisional game. I still nope. I think Seattle actually wins. I'm not going to. I can't give the benefit of the doubt for this one. I think that losing somebody like Debo Samuel is very damaging. We don't know what type of Christian McCaffrey we're gonna get. Um, I don't even know what happened with Brandon Ayuk. He suffered a devastating injury last year. Radio silent on my end because I haven't like tried to figure out what was going on with him. Radio silent ever since. So much so that I think it was Ricky Pearsall is actually listed as like the other starting receiver. So I don't yeah I'm not sure if San Francisco actually has enough firepower, enough continuity to beat Seattle. I think Seattle, who's shown very good strides as far as being able to run the ball effectively, especially in the preseason, it was very impressive at one point. I think Seattle actually wins this one. I don't think that it's a blowout because it's a divisional game, but I do think that it's a convincing win. So I think that Seattle is actually going to beat San Francisco 27 27-18. I think. So, yeah, uh I think Seattle convincingly beats San Francisco. Now, the Tennessee Titans are also playing the Denver Broncos. That one That one should be a toss up, but obviously I have the Broncos winning that one. I think that Bo Nix and company on offense have another season under their belt, and I think that they'll be able to do well. Now, I do not know whether or not my guy, oh my goodness, my guy from SMU that plays for the Broncos now. I just went blank. Number 14. I just went blank. Cortland Sutton. Um, I think that depending on his health status, if If he's there, they're probably going to win a bit more convincingly. If not, I think it's probably going to be a lot closer than what's anticipated. But um, I honestly think that Denver should just go ahead and win this one at least by 6 or 7 points. If I had to pick like points, then it would probably be something closer to like I think probably 20-13, something of that nature. Um, if I'm having to pick like a score, but 20-13 Denver over Tennessee. Now, Detroit is actually playing Green Bay. Now, for all intents and purposes, the Lions should actually be favored in this one because of their more recent successes with the division as of late. But sometimes Green Bay does have their number. I think that because of a new pass rusher in Michael Parsons, and I think with Jordan Love at quarterback with another year under his belt, as long as he's not turning the ball over as much, or if he's just not gonna turn over the ball and he's making better reads and decisions, I'll have probably Green Bay winning this one. Um, no, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. I can't even do it with a straight face. I can't do that. I'll have Detroit winning. It's a divisional game. I think Green Bay is probably going to play them tough, but I think that Detroit is going to be too much. I think that Detroit is going to be able to effectively run the ball, especially towards the end of the game, and then close it out, slam the door shut on Green Bay, and then call it a week. Wow. I don't want to think that this is going to be a high scoring game, but for whatever reason, I think that Detroit probably, yeah, I think that it's probably going to wind up being something like 27 to, 27 to ultimately 20 or something like that. With Green Bay, I think that Green Bay probably scores like a late touchdown to try to help keep them in the game. But yeah, I think it's 27-20 Detroit. Okay, and then we got Houston versus the LA Rams. So I think this one is in LA. Um, but you know what they say, defense actually travels, and Houston actually has a pretty good defense. Now, with the LA Rams, I think that they have a very underestimated offense. I think with Matthew Stafford still at the helm, and then you have Kyron Williams at running back, and then a new addition of Devontae Adams at receiver. I think that they'll do well. I just don't think that they'll probably be able to gel and coagulate enough to actually beat Houston. I think that Houston may actually squeak this one out. I think it would probably be like 24, maybe 17, or 24-20, um, depending on the performance of the LA Rams. But I have Houston actually winning this one. Now, Baltimore is playing Buffalo. That Sunday night. And then with that one, is basically returning to the scene of the crime. Baltimore is having to go up to Buffalo to play them. Last time they played, of course, they suffered a heartbreaking divisional loss, and that was where Mark Andrews unfortunately dropped all those passes and dropped a very important one at the end, costing them the game. I don't see that happening, and that had to take place with in a losing effort. So if it took that for Baltimore to actually lose, and I don't see that happening again, all right, unfortunately, I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Baltimore Ravens actually prevail. They'll pull this one off. It is going to be like another close game. Um, I'm thinking that Baltimore is probably going to wind up pulling this off. It's probably going to wind up being like 27-24 or something like that. It's going to be a close one, but I think Baltimore does enough this time to actually edge out Buffalo and beat them. Now, the Monday night game, which is Minnesota versus Chicago, um, the new look Bears on offense are actually very promising, but the Minnesota Vikings defense is pretty much all still intact. And I do look forward to seeing how JJ McCarthy plays. I don't think the Chicago on defense has enough to legitimately scare or threaten JJ. So I do think that Minnesota should win this one. I don't even think I don't want to say it's going to be a close game. I think that Minnesota probably wins by maybe a touchdown or 8 points. So if I'm having to pick like numbers, and I think this is going to be a pretty good scoring game, despite Minnesota's defense being solid. So, um, I'm thinking probably 31-24 Minnesota. So, and the reason that I think that they'll probably score that many points is because I I think Caleb Williams may at some point try and press, and he's going to take a chance that he shouldn't, and then that's going to lead to a turnover, and then it'll be an easy score for Minnesota, just based off of that. And then, of course, I just think that Minnesota is more polished, and they have Justin Jefferson at receiver. Like, what do regardless of who's playing quarterback, that guy goes out there, gets open, catches passes, and he is legitimately very hard to bring down. So yeah, I think Minnesota will do all right. Now, on to my Pittsburgh Steelers actually playing the New York Jets. So this particular matchup takes place Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard or 12 noon in New York. They're playing in MetLife Stadium. Now, this is a tale of trading places, of course. That is the narrative that the media is giving it because Aaron Rodgers played for New York last year. Justin Fields played for us last year. And the roles have legitimately swapped, or quite literally swapped, excuse me. So, we know Justin Fields. The game plan is this, okay? And I'm sure that the Jets know what it is too. We are going to have to stifle the running game, particularly the QB option running game. And of course, what that basically means is that the quarterback will either hand the ball off to the running back, which in this case was going to be Breece Hall, or he decides according to what the person on the end man on the line of scrimmage actually does. So if the guy at the end of the line of scrimmage rushes in to take the running back, then the quarterback's going to pull the ball and he's going to run with it. If the end man at the line of scrimmage just kind of stays put and watches what the quarterback does, then he's going to hand the ball off to the running back. Either way, it is very important for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make sure that they stay in their assigned gap. If they stay in their assigned gap, then this is going to be a very successful outing. If we try to play hero ball on defense and try to make up for the mistakes or sins of another player, then it's gonna be disastrous, is what I'll say, as far as us stopping a run. So I think as long as we're able to keep our gap integrity and make sure that that's taken care of, like there's someone accountable for every gap that you could actually run through, then we'll be okay. We have to make sure that we do that consistently for 4 quarters, 60 minutes. And I think that we'll be fine. If we cause a situation to where we demand Justin Fields to drop back and throw the ball consistently, I'm so sorry, then we're going to be in very good stand. And I think that we'll definitely be okay. We will definitely be okay if we're asking Justin Fields to drop back and throw the ball 30 times or more. All right. That is not what anyone should be asking him to do. Even at this particular point in his career where he's still developing, because he's only 26. So yeah, if we're able to force Justin Fields to just drop back, make good reads, and throw the ball, then I love my chances. So yeah, I think that as long as we stop the run, we should be okay. Now, on offense, here's the reality. Because Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf did not play in the preseason, it's going to look bad at first. We're going to have a bunch of 3-and-outs. It's going to be frustrating to watch. Hang in there, all right? It is very, very important to know and understand that in the professional leagues, timing, rhythm, and details matter. It is those things or variables are the difference between winning and losing every week. Okay. So as soon as they're able to just iron the kinks out, and I think that's probably going to be happening closer to the second half or possibly late in the second quarter to where they start building positive momentum. I think that once that momentum is actually established, we'll be okay. I do not look for us to score a whole lot of touchdowns in this one. Probably going to be an ugly win. I'm thinking either 17-13 or at best maybe 20 to 13 or 20-14, something like that. Could be 20-17. You never know. But yeah, I don't look for us to actually just be, all cylinders firing off and scoring points and things of that nature. It's not going to happen. So I just think that we'll do enough to be able to win this one. And then as the season progresses, I expect our offense to actually improve. But they are going to look bad initially. I am telling you guys, Steeler Nation, we're not going to look good early, okay? But I think what is most important is what actually happens at the end of the game. So there you have it. Now, I said to myself that I was actually going to do this towards the beginning of the show. That way I would not mess up in the end. But I do want to give shouts out to my brothers. Coach 67 Sports TV has a plethora of shows on YouTube, most of which include Southern University content. He is the best Southern University content creator on the face of this planet. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. I stand behind that statement. My brother Jared O11 Green also has a variety of shows, two of which come to mind from a black man's perspective, which usually comes on every other Saturday, so 2 Saturdays a month. On YouTube, it comes on at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then the Southern Baller Show, that comes on 3 p.m. Central Standard, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard on YouTube on Sundays as well. Please also check out my brother Cadillac Red, who has a variety of shows as well. He usually comes on Mondays, Fridays, and then Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, according to whatever his schedule may actually wind up being. But his handle is going to be Supreme Beasts, like the animal, Boxing Talk, and you can catch that again on YouTube Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. He's associated with the Usual Suspect 6 group. So anything pertaining to Supreme Beasts, like the animal, Boxing Talk, or Usual Suspect 6, you can check out with him. Now, we also have a brilliant self mastery, self improvement content creator, Junior the Truth. He has Black Coffee Club. Every now and again, he'll do a Punch Junkie show where he discusses boxing, but the self mastery and self improvement content is what he's fully concentrated on at this point now. So, if you are looking to improve yourself, build a better you, please check out his content. Again, it's Junior the Truth, Black Coffee Club. Usually he comes on YouTube, I would say 7:30 a.m. Central Standard or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Please check his content out. I do post on it all the time if you're having trouble finding it. And then also check out my brother Drew Titan, and he usually does a variety of shows on weekdays. I would say probably 9 a.m. Central Standard or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. And then he has the Pep Talk, which usually comes on probably around 10 p.m. Central Standard or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard, also on YouTube. Also, check out the founder of the LDBC 78 Sports TV. He usually has shows that comes on 10 a.m. Central Standard on YouTube. Thank you all so much for tuning in to It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox. Happy NFL opening weekend. And until I see you guys next time,